Welcome to SPLAT. Barry's not here. Where am I? I don't know, I got lost. So, Barry's dead. Or he's in Japan. Or he's dead in Japan. One of those three things is true. You decide which one. So I'm here alone this week. He doesn't know this video's coming out. I don't even know this video's coming out. It's a shock to me. This chair leans back a lot, and it scares me because I might fall. But here we are in a place of unknown origin and location. Do we have Splat news today? No. We don't need Splat news. That was Barry's idea. What a terrible idea. No, I don't want to look up anything right now. I don't feel like it. But let's talk about some stuff. You know, you splatters deserve some content. All right? So, Barry being away right now, again, either dead or in Japan. What a nuisance to this podcast he was. I'll tell you what, I couldn't wait for him to leave. Thank God he's gone. And you may or may not ever see him again. No, but honestly, I do hope he's having a good time in Japan. I don't think he's dead. He might be. But I hope he is having a good time in Japan. That is a place that I've always wanted to go. And I'm sure he'll talk ad nauseum about it next episode. Which is funny because, as most of you know, most of you being the 5 people that actually regularly watch this, you know that my girlfriend lives in Chile. And I've been there a few times, three times, I think 3 times. It's hard to keep track of because, you know, she's been here so many times, I've been there so many times. It's, you know, we've been together for 6 years, so it's hard to keep track of every once in a while, but I'm sure if I checked the calendar, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it's 3 times. But anyway, the first time I went, I was still in high school. And holy cow, let me tell you something. When I got back, I really didn't want to be that person who, I mean, we all know those memes where somebody, you know, comes back from a vacation of like a week, which by the way is how long I was there the first time. You know, when somebody comes back from that vacation and, you know, maybe, you know, accidentally says a word in a different language or accidentally, you know, eats their food a different way because maybe the people in that country eat their food different ways, and then they'll go, "Oop, I'm sorry, I just got too used to being in Mexico or being in Guatemala," or, you know, I can only think of Spanish-speaking countries right now, I guess, but you know what I mean. I did not want to be that person because to me, and to a lot of people, I think that person is incredibly cringe. I was that person when I came back from Chile, and I really didn't want to be, and God, I tried so hard not to be, like, truly I did. But it was one of those things where when somebody would mention something, it would just be in my head where it's like, oh, we did something different to that in Chile. I should let them know. And then there would be like a little like angel on my shoulder saying, no, don't do that. It's going to be cringe. And then I would just be like, you know what's interesting in Chile? And I could tell that so many people I was talking to didn't give a shit. They did not care. And that is totally reasonable. Because I think you have about a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how long you've been there. I think that if you are in a place for a week, you have about 2 weeks, and then if you keep talking about your trip, that's too much. And I talked about it for, you know, close to 6 or 7 months. So yeah, that was quite a while. And again, I spent 8 days there. Actually, I think, 8 days, because it took a day to fly out there and a day to fly back, and it was a 10-day period, so I really only spent 8 days there. I guess technically 9 if you want to count the 2 half days. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to give Barry 2 episodes of the podcast. Barry, you're watching this, I'm sure you are. And yeah, you get 2 episodes to talk about this at length. You can mention Japan, You can mention Japanese shit and, shit you did in the future as well. But if you start doing that shit that I did, because I mean, I know you remember how I was in in senior year of high school, just talking nonstop about Chile. You can't tell me you weren't annoyed by that. So I'm going to give you about 2, maybe 3 weeks, because it is Japan. Japan is pretty fucking cool. Like, I'm not going to lie, Chile is a beautiful place. I love Chile. But if I didn't have a girlfriend who lives in Chile, I probably would have never visited it in my entire life. And that kind of makes me sad because it is a fantastic place. Visit it if you have the money and if you have the time. It's a fantastic place. But Japan, like before I met my girlfriend, obviously Japan is like number 1 on my list of places that I want to go. You know, I mean, I think that for most people who don't live in Southeast Asia, Japan is a huge tourist destination. I mean, it's probably one of... The U.S. might be bigger, but I don't know, actually. I don't have the stats to pull it up, so I'm not going to pretend that I know. But I do know that a lot of people go to Japan every year, all the time. Like, constantly there is tourism in Japan. So, of course, and, you know, compared to Chile, you know, there's not much tourism there. I mean, there is, but not even close to Japan. So, of course, Japan is someplace that I would have wanted to go for quite a long time. So I suppose what I'm trying to say here is, you know, I think he's allowed to talk about Japan for a little bit longer than I talked about Chile. Just, you know, strictly because Japan is, in my opinion, well, I guess objectively, maybe a more interesting, fun place than Chile is. And again, haven't been to Japan, I have been to Chile. So in my true opinion, Chile is better. But I've never been to Japan, so I can't truly say that, or, you know, yes or no. I would like to think that Chile is better because I love that country. Not just because my girlfriend's there. I love the customs, I love the relationships between people and, like, families. I love the food, I love hiking, I love rafting. Like, everything about that is amazing. And I don't think, like... Because the thing, okay, here's my thing about Japan, right? It's noisy, isn't it? And it's really loud. That's the same thing. It's noisy and it's bright, is what I meant to say. I guess I'm focusing more on Tokyo, because yes, I do know that a lot of Japan is landscapes, mountains, so before you rush to the comments and say, you know, shit like, no, you have no idea what you're talking about. Number 1, you're right, I don't, because I've never been there. I've seen a lot of stuff from Japan, seen a lot of Japanese movies, looked at a lot of pictures of Japan. That doesn't mean that I've ever been there. So I can't really talk about it as if I have been there. However, I do know that the biggest tourist destination in Japan is Tokyo, maybe followed by Kyoto, but those are still big cities with lots of lights, lots of noise, lots of smells, lots of everything. And Chile is way more quaint and calm. Santiago is, you know, that's like Chicago or New York or any of your big cities, and not as fun as Tokyo, I'm sure. But, like, the most fun thing you can do in Santiago is, actually, I don't know. But, I don't usually have that much fun in Santiago. I mean, my girlfriend's siblings live there, so we hang out with them, and they're cool. But, in terms of, like, tourist attractions in Santiago, I mean, I think there's a zoo and, like, an amusement park, but it's hot as shit there, and, yeah, no, I don't like Santiago. I'm just gonna be straight up, I don't like Santiago, but in Japan, I think, where was I going with this? I don't know, oh, right, that I think I might actually like Chile better overall, because Japan, in my opinion, tends to be a little bit noisier, a little bit more crowded, and again, I would love to go to Japan. I want to go to Japan. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say, before I die, I will go to Japan. Knock on wood, I hope I don't die soon. And yeah, so I would love to go to Japan. In fact, my girlfriend, my brother, and I are all planning on going to Japan at some point in our lives. Hopefully within the next 5 to 10 years. That would be really cool. Because Barry somehow, with his part-time job at UPS, no, is it UPS? I don't remember where he works, probably at UPS. Somewhere where he's not using his creative writing degree. Is, you know, somehow he's scraped enough money together to go to Japan. But then again, that's with a lot of other people. I'm sure that they each paid for their own airplane ticket. And I don't know how much a ticket to Japan costs, but somehow he managed to scrape together the funds. I don't know if his parents helped him. He is an only child. I don't know. I'll talk to him about that later on air, so I can make fun of him spending a bunch of money. And that would basically just be me making fun of him having more money than I do. Well, not after this trip, maybe. I don't know. He's probably better at saving money than I am. But, yeah. So that's my 2 cents about Japan in 11 minutes or less. Or 10, whatever. So, you're probably thinking, what else are we going to do today? What are we going to talk about? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. See, Barry's gone, and I don't have a plan for today. I was initially going to record this somewhere else and do something else, but I was like, you know what? I might as well just record it right now, right here. And I'm not going to say where here is, and I'm also not going to say when right now is. It'll just be a mystery, and nobody will ever know, which is fine. But, let's see. Maybe I can cut this part out when I'm thinking about what the fuck I want to talk about. Nuclear power. Isn't that wild? That nuclear power is probably the most sustainable energy source on the planet. Easily. Probably, maybe, even in the universe, I might argue. But, isn't it also wild that it's, you know, it's so powerful that it could probably wipe out the entire human race in an afternoon? Isn't that weird? Well, that's all I got about nuclear power. Speaking of nuclear power, I wonder what Barry's doing right now. What time is it in Japan? I don't know. I could check, but I won't. Because to be honest, I'm recording with my phone. That's the only piece of technology I have right now on me other than this, and that's not going to tell me Jack Daniels. So, we're just going to sit here for another 50 minutes or so. No, probably more like 40. This might be a shorter episode. I mean, you know how long it is. You're watching the video. Chances are you're not going to make it through the whole thing, and if you do leave a comment, please, for the love of God, just leave a comment anyway, because we need interaction on our videos. Let's talk about that. So, by the time this video is out, there should be a video on my YouTube channel, and I will put that right there. Not the maybe I'll put the thumbnail right there. Yeah, I'll put the thumbnail right there. Pow! And then I'm going to put my channel name right there. Pow! And also go follow Barry on TikTok. I'll put his name much, much smaller right there, but everything will be in the description. But basically, my new video is me trying to solve a shape-shifting Rubik's Cube blindfolded. I'm not going to tell you if I successfully did it or not. You're going to have to go check the video out to see what happened. It's only like a 10-minute video. In fact, I believe it's exactly 10 minutes. So go watch the video. I don't know. And it's got a nice little piano music background going on while I'm solving. It's quite nice. I think it's quite relaxing. I put it together last night in about 10 minutes. So it's relaxing. It's a nice video. Put it in the background when you're doing your homework or something. Or when you're working, or I don't know. How old are you guys who are watching? If you guys are watching, please just comment anything. I don't even care if you comment this YouTube channel sucks. Like, just comment something, you know? Give us some interaction. Give us some stuff to use. You may have commented on last videos, and then I just haven't seen it. Barry's the one who kind of checks that stuff. You know, we never really talked about who the host of this is. I think we do kind of co-own. Yeah, we co-host this. I would honestly say that Barry's probably more in charge of this than I am, because he does more of the editing. He does all of the editing. He comes up with a lot of the ideas. We record at his house. I don't know who came up with the idea for Splat first, though. That's a pretty good question. I remember that it was in Mr. Lofthouse's pre-calculus class that we came up with that idea, which was pretty cool. Because that was in, I think we actually came up with that idea first semester. So that would have been 2018, of like September through December, around there of 2018. We may have even come up with it earlier than that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. For the love of Christ, let us know in the comments if you want me to release some unreleased stuff. And I may not, because I would have to listen to it again. But there are 5 Splat recordings. There may actually only be 1 left. But there are 5 Splat recordings, all recorded in 2018, late 2018 and early 2019. It is Barry driving me home from high school, and we're just... It's strictly voice recordings. That's all it is. They're garbage, but those are technically the first Splat episodes. I don't know what I was planning on doing with those episodes. I think we were just dicking around and having fun. So whenever Splat, like, 1, like the test run number 1, I'll see if I can find that on my phone at some point, and then we can talk about that in a few episodes. But please comment below if you would like to see that. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going out of my way to get you guys to comment stuff, so please comment. Okay? Whoever that guy was who told us that he liked seeing us go down that King Cobra JSF, you know what I'm talking about. Whoever commented that, love it. Interaction, fantastic. And yes, speaking of him, we are going to be going down that rabbit hole more. I am hyped to go down that rabbit hole. That's going to take quite a couple of months. Quite a couple of months? Yes, it'll take quite a couple of months. And I'm going to try to put like a timeline together of when he started his career up until the present day. And I think Barry's going to try to like find a bunch of video clips that we can play. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't quite know. But I would love to dedicate a whole, like, what did Barry say? Like a, there's a term for it, where we just make a video, like, I don't think we'd have any talking heads, but just a video basically about him and his career, which would be pretty cool, because it seems like there's a lot of controversy behind him. You know, we just thought he was a weird dude who ate Taco Bell. Turns out he could potentially be somebody who takes advantage of women. I don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes, but I am dying to jump down it. And if you don't know who the hell I'm talking about, go watch a video that we made a couple of weeks ago. It's called something like Going Down the King Cobra Rabbit Hole, or like... I don't know, but it's something like that. I don't think I made a thumbnail for that video. That's what I need to do. You know, I always get mad at you guys for not commenting. But then, well, I'm not actually mad. But I always, you know, get on you guys for not commenting. But then I'm over here making some thumbnails. And it takes me 2 minutes to make a thumbnail. I need to make a thumbnail. I'll make a thumbnail for this one. It'll be this. Easy. Done. So... yeah, there you go. What was I talking about before King Cobra? I was definitely talking about something, wasn't I? Oh, yeah, the original Splat episodes. So I don't know who conceptualized Splat first. Splat, by the way, does stand for something. S.P.L.A.T. It is an acronym. I think that's the word that I want to use. Acronym? Yeah. It is an acronym for something. And that'll incentivize you guys to comment. Just go ahead and put in the comments what you think Splat means. We used to, like, the first 10 episodes or so, maybe even 15, we were like, welcome to Splat, like, spooky trees looking at towns, or, I don't know. I spelled, that's S.P.L.A.T. But anyway, and we, like, came up with a bunch of different acronyms. But there is actually something that it does mean. There is one actual acronym. And if you guys can guess that, we'll, I don't know. We'll figure out something. But we'll reward you in some way. Probably not monetarily. And we probably won't send you anything either. But, I don't know. Maybe we'll figure something out. Because that would be pretty cool if somebody guessed it. However, I know a couple of our close friends know what it means, so if one of you guys comments on these videos, I'm sorry, you don't count. Yeah. So, I need to ask Barry about who conceptualized this first. That is really going to bug me. Because I remember we were in Lofthouse's class where we did nothing, okay? And I mean nothing. Actually, I only got a C in that class. Which, to be fair, not to flex or anything, but that was the only C I got in high school, like, overall, like, in my class grades. I actually got honor roll for 7 out of the 8 semesters. That was the only class that I got a C in. And to be fair, it was probably because Barry and I were just goofing around in that class, and Lofthouse did not care. So, yeah, I haven't taken a math class in probably approaching on 5 years now. And that's fine, because I don't like math at all. Okay, if you count physics as math, then it's only been like 2.5 years. And I guess physics would technically be math. But other than that, I haven't taken like an actual math course. I took calculus in my first semester of college, but that was a while ago. So, yeah. But we were just goofing around one day, and I think we were talking about, because this was back when Gus Johnson and Eddie Burbag had a podcast. I don't know if they still do. Gus Johnson had some stuff, and Barry and I kind of unsubscribed from his YouTube channel and his, funny guy, maybe not a super nice guy. There's some stuff there, but back when him and Eddie had a podcast, I think, because Barry really liked that podcast, I think I listened to a couple of episodes. It wasn't really my thing. I mean, they're both funny guys, but I just never really got into that specific podcast. But I think Barry had the idea of, hey, let's do a podcast. So I do think it was you know what? It was his idea. I'm going to give him the credit. It was his idea. I don't know who came up with the name SPLAT. That might have been me. I might take the credit for that because I'm pretty decent at acronyms. So it was probably me who came up with the name, but he probably came up with the idea of, hey, let's do a podcast. Although I always made fun of him, and I always said, because he would always be like, hey, let's start this podcast, or after we graduate from high school, let's go to college together, let's live together, and let's do a podcast. And I would always be like, yeah, that's not ever going to happen, because, I just thought it was way too high of an ambition. And technically, we didn't start the podcast until like 5 years later, but we did, and that was because Barry came back from university, ISU, I believe. I always get ISU and SIU combined, which is funny because I visited him in university at least 10 times. So I'm pretty sure it was ISU. I don't know, the one with the cardinal. But he came back. And he had graduated, and I was in, I had gotten a job, like, shoot, did I get, no, this was like this was like a year after I had gotten a job, so I was already going back to school. I had been sober for a year, I think. Because, Barry and I had hung out he came back the year before we started recording, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And we hung out a lot, but not that much. And then, we just decided, I texted him and I was like, hey, I'm free on Wednesdays. Do you want to, start SPLAT? And of course he was mega down immediately, which was pretty cool. And so, then we just started SPLAT officially, because, again, unofficially, there's those 5 recordings, which I think 4 of them are lost to time. They might be, in terms of technology, they're floating around in the ether somewhere, but it would take me quite a long time for me to actually find it. Again, leave a comment if you want me to try to find those things, and I will upload the ones that I find. I was going to say maybe one of us is going to make an animation for one of them. That's not going to happen. I don't know how to animate anything. I know Barry doesn't. And if he does, they're like 15-minute recordings. and half of them are probably unintelligible. So no, we might upload them to the Patreon, which I know Barry hasn't uploaded audio versions for a while, but that's okay. If we get like above 100 subscribers at any point, and you guys express interest in wanting to actually listen to an audio version of our podcast, then yeah, I'll whip Barry a bit and get him to do that. But what was I saying? Right. When Barry, when I said, hey, let's start Splat, we started Splat. And now we're here. So it is funny, me, the person who said that this was never going to be a thing and that he should keep dreaming and that this was going to be a completely pointless endeavor, here we are with 36 subscribers. So it's not quite a pointless endeavor. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you are an aspiring YouTuber, which I don't think I am. I don't think Barry is either. I mean, we're both uploading videos. You know, I upload a bunch of stuff to TikTok. I got a couple hundred followers. I got a couple videos with like 250,000 views. I don't consider that being like, you know, because I haven't made a single cent off of anything, which is fine. I have a job, and I make enough money to be comfortable. But I do think that if you are an aspiring YouTuber or something, and people say this all the time, and I am not in a position to actually give advice because, again, 36 subscribers, we've been making videos, I guess, for less than a year, probably less than 6 months. No, I think a little bit over 6 months. But I mean, I think a lot of people in our generation, Gen Z, if you are confused, which you shouldn't be, all kind of, you know, we all post videos on TikTok or upload shit to YouTube or like whatever, and maybe part of it is, hey, we can get attention, maybe we can, you know, maybe there's that like pipe dream of like, oh, maybe we can make a couple bucks off of this, and it would be cool. If Barry and I ever made a couple bucks off of this would be that would be really cool. I don't think I would do this forever, because I have other plans with my life, but it would be pretty cool to make a couple bucks. Will I be disappointed if we don't? Absolutely not. Because here's the thing, right? And first and foremost, I think this is the most important part of making videos. And again, I sound like a cocky influencer saying this, even though, again, not an influencer. But I think the main thing is that you gotta have fun. And that's the reality of it. Barry and I have fun. You know, no matter, you know, every once in a while we eat something that doesn't sit well with us, or, you know, we do a couple episodes that maybe we're not super proud of. But, first of all, Barry and I don't think have ever gotten into a fight. If we have, I don't remember. I think I may have yelled at him once or twice in freshman year, but I was going through some shit then, and I yelled at everybody at a certain point in that year. That's not my proudest year. But in terms of fights, I don't think, like, Barry's that kind of person who immediately just agrees to disagree. If he doesn't agree with you, he doesn't pick a fight about it, and he's just like, oh, okay, I see your point, the end. So he would suck at being a lawyer. He would be an absolute garbage fucking lawyer. And I probably would be too. But it's nice because, again, we've never really gotten into fights. We've disagreed on things, and that's totally fine. You know, sometimes the humor that he likes is not the kind of humor that I like. And vice versa, of course. He has liked movies that I have thought are absolute dog shit, and that's fine. I'm sure that the exact same thing goes from me to him as well. So, but we get along. We have been friends for, over a decade at this point. Like 12 years. And, well, okay, I guess friends for about 10 years. We've known each other for like 12. Because it took a couple years for us to actually get the ball rolling. But I truly do enjoy spending time with him and recording Splat videos. I think it's great. I think it's super fun. And we have a good time. You know, we cut out like hour and a half of time every Wednesday or Friday or Saturday if we forget to record, because that's definitely happened. And, you know, but we do have a good time. and I think I am speaking for both of us, because I know that Barry has a good... I mean, if one of us weren't having a good time, I would hope that we would say something, you know? Because, I mean, there have definitely been times where, like, I've wanted to do something that Barry's just like, you know, I'm not really vibing with this. I'm gonna go home, or I'm not gonna do this. And, again, vice versa as well. We're very honest and open with each other about that kind of stuff, which I think is super healthy. Which is why we've been friends for so long. Also, you know, it helps that we've basically lived in the exact same location for all of our lives. But if you're gonna make videos, don't do it with the purpose or the goal of making a bunch of money. Because if that was the only reason that we were making Splat, we would both be so miserable right now, because we're not very successful. We're not successful at all. But that's fine, because we're having a good time recording, you know? I enjoy going to his house. It gives us an excuse to hang out. Most of the time, our videos are just us, you know, being assholes and being weird. And that's totally fine. I enjoy the hell out of that, and I know he does too. I don't know why I'm pointing this way. So yeah, if you are going into making videos of any kind, or even, like, doing any sort of influencing, like posting pictures on Instagram, or, you know, writing a blog, or publishing books, or writing music, if you're doing any of that with the sole intention of making buckets of money, you're gonna be so fucking disappointed for the majority of the time that you're doing it. Because the reality of the situation is, like, 99% of us are not going to be famous in any way, and we're going to have regular people jobs. Which I think is fine, because if you like what you're doing, or even if you don't like what you're doing, if you like who you spend your time with, that's what matters, you know? I love my girlfriend, Barry's great, I love Barry, I love my family, and I love my other friends. We all have good times together, you know? Do I love my job? I don't absolutely love it. You know, being a custodian isn't like, you know, I don't wake up every morning and be, oh my god, yeah, this is so great. But I also don't hate the job, you know? It pays pretty well. I have good hours. And the people that I work with are generally pretty nice. So I consider myself pretty lucky in that regard, you know? And obviously, yeah, everybody wants to make money, you know? And if people say that money doesn't matter to them, that's fine. And maybe it doesn't. But wouldn't it matter if you couldn't afford to buy, you know, a loaf of bread, or a dozen eggs, or a carton of milk and some cereal, or pay your taxes every month? Wouldn't that matter? So in a certain way, yeah, money does matter, you know, and that's kind of the harsh reality of it. So you got to make money in some way. But if you are dedicating making music or writing books, or, you know, any of that stuff that I mentioned, and making videos, whatever, if you're doing that and not working something else on the side, or you're expecting to go viral or blow up or sell millions of copies of whatever you're doing in, like, the first year, that's not going to happen. If Barry and I ever blow up on YouTube, which, again, I doubt is going to happen, and I'm totally okay with that, but if we ever do blow up on YouTube, it's not going to be for at least another year and a half or 2 years. Unless something major happens and, you know, we get, like, a shout-out from somebody popular or whatever. But again, that's not something I'm hinging any like, thought on, and it's not something that I hope is going to, well, it's not something that I'm wishing for currently, because again, I'm having a great time recording this with Barry, and I'm having a great time hanging out with him and spending time with him. So I do think if you're making music, if you're writing books, if you're writing blogs, if you're making videos, if you're making content, if you're being an influencer in any way, have fun with it first and foremost, because the more you try to make money, the less it becomes something that you enjoy, and the more it becomes a job. And statistically speaking, I think less people are going to have fun doing anything that they're doing if they consider it to be a job. If they consider it to be something that's fun, you know, like if you're watching movies, right? Like, I love movies and TV, right? And I love being critical of movies and TV, and I, you know, will post reviews on IMDb all the time. But if it were my job to go to premieres of movies and take notes throughout the movie and be incredibly critical and then write, 15 to 20 paragraph blog posts about what I think about the film, I would still like watching movies, but I think I would honestly enjoy it considerably less. Because it would be a job. If I slowly progressed into that, if for some reason, like I did actually have a blog at one point that was talking about movies, and I didn't really feel like doing it because my point of doing that was to try to get people to notice it. And nobody noticed it within the first couple of months, and I was like, oh, I no longer enjoy this. And that's true. I enjoyed watching movies. I didn't really enjoy reviewing movies. So I think that's what you should do. Hone in on what you like doing. I like hanging out with Barry. I like posting stuff on YouTube, not necessarily because I get interaction, but because I'm like, maybe some other people will find this funny. Maybe some other people will laugh, like Barry and I laugh. Maybe, some people will, share this with their friends and make them laugh as well. And if that also comes with us making a couple bucks, us getting a few thousand subscribers, awesome. But that's not my main intent. And that was never our main intent. Well, I think back in senior year, and I'd have to ask Barry about this personally, but I think that he was, like, hey, maybe we can make a living being influencers and then we don't have to go to college. That would have been nice. But, here we are. And I'm studying psychology, something that I truly find very interesting. And now, if something happens in my life and I'm not able to complete my studies in psychology, that's okay. I can live with that. Because I still enjoy hanging out with my family and friends. I enjoy spending time with the people that I love, watching movies, reading books, sometimes writing books. Well, I've written one novel, and that wasn't very successful. But, I think that if you plan your life out to a T, then for the majority of that time, you're going to be at least a little bit disappointed. Because not everything is always going to go as you plan. But if you plan it out to where, like, you have a general idea of this is what I want to do, like, I want to live with this person, or I want to have a family with this person, or I want to work in this general field, you will be way more happy rather than if you say something like, I want to be a writer for CNN and be stationed in New York City and live in this exact apartment building. Because the more specific you get with your goals, the more disappointed you're going to be, because it's so hard to fulfill your goals to that level of specificity. I think that's the word I'm looking for. So what Barry and I's goals are is to have fun and make people laugh. And make ourselves laugh. And we accomplish at least 2 of those goals. If we don't make other people laugh, we're at least having a good time. And that's cool. I'm fine with that. So, have a good time with whatever you're doing. Have fun. Be fun. And if you want it to be a job, then expect a certain amount of stress that comes with it. And be prepared to maybe have a little bit less fun, but also dedicate a lot more time to it. Because if Barry and I considered Splat a job, I would be making very good thumbnails all the time. We would be way more organized about this. Barry would have probably bought better recording equipment. I probably would have pitched in for better recording equipment. We may have bought a green screen. A lot of other things would have happened if we would consider this a job. We consider this a hobby, an activity, something that we do weekly that we enjoy. And that's totally cool. I really enjoy doing this, and I feel very grateful that we have the technology and we have enough money to actually be able to do this. Not that this costs any money to do. I mean, I bought a couple things for the podcast, and he has too. But, I mean, ultimately, maybe $50 from each of us over the course of these 6 months. But, yeah, so... And I probably should have bought a mic. Well, I have a mic. I probably should have brought it here, because I didn't. I could get it, but I don't want to. So hopefully the audio is not shit. It's probably going to be shit, but oh well. And God, I really hope, because I'm recording this on my phone, my iPhone 13, which I know is old. Like, the second that you buy an iPhone, it immediately goes out of style, and then you got to buy the next one. And I get that that's marketing, but fuck you, Apple. Your phones are okay. Your marketing is also okay, but The way you do shit sucks. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, I'm recording this with my iPhone 13, so the mic is decent. It's not great, but also my storage. I do pay money every month for extra storage on my phone, so hopefully this doesn't just blink out and say storage full. And if it does, that's fine, because I've said basically everything that I've wanted to say in this episode. And I do use CapCut, so CapCut can, export some pretty beefy fucking videos, which is good. And I should be able to get this video up hopefully no later than, well, whenever you're watching this. So yeah. Again, no Splat news, unfortunately. There definitely could be Splat news, but I'm not going to do any Splat news. This will be considered Splat episode 29, I think. Maybe this is even episode 30. I don't know. Again, Barry doesn't know about this episode. Well, I mean, now he does, because he's watching it, probably. I don't know if he's watching it all the way through. That's the test, Barry. Can you make it through one of our own videos? And if you can't, that's fair. But if you made it this far, congratulations. Yeah, so there is going to be another video coming out on my channel, probably within the next 2 weeks or so. So look forward to that. Obviously, we have weekly content coming out all the time with Splat. Look forward to that. I'm saying this like it's an outro. I still have stuff to talk about. What am I doing? I mean, I don't really have stuff to talk about, but I can continue talking. Do you want me to? No? Okay, I'm going to keep going. But yeah, so have fun with life, because for all we know, we only live once. But I don't know. I'm not going to go into a conversation about death right now. I could, but I'm not going to, because that would bum me out. But yeah. Shit. Anyway. If you have any suggestions for what you want to see from us, do you want us to open mystery boxes? Do you want us to review podcasts? Do you want us to review videos? Do you want us to read other people's fan fictions? I'm just throwing things out here at this point. Just let us know what you want to see, okay? And if you've made it this far in the video, if you have truly made it this far in the video, not you, Barry, please, in the comments, whoever you are, friend, foe, just leave a comment saying, I no longer want to see this content, okay? Not super helpful, but at least it's interaction. Honestly, anything would work. Just give us something to work with, please, guys. And in return, I'll give you thumbnails. Oy. So, yeah. Let's work together to make this community a better place. It's not a community. Not yet. Maybe it will be one day, and that would be cool. So, yeah. Also, a few of you may have noticed that throughout these 6 months, my hair has gone from here to here, and my facial hair has gone from none to a little to none to a little to none to right here now. So, let me tell you a little bit about that. So, originally, I had hair. Well, I was actually born, this is an interesting fact, I was born with hair so long that legitimately, until the doctor saw my baby bits, that is such a weird way to phrase that, he thought I was a girl. I'm never going to say baby bits again. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Look, at least I was talking about mine and not some other babies, so I guess that makes it okay-ish. I don't know. Weird way to phrase it. We're going to move past this. So yeah, I was actually, they thought I was a girl at first because my parents didn't know, they didn't want to know going in, which is fine. Didn't affect me any. But yeah, I had very long hair as a kid, well, as a newborn, like as an infant, coming out of my mother's C-section. You almost thought I was going somewhere else, but I wasn't. In fact, both of me and my brother were C-sections, which is pretty cool. What does that mean? But yeah, so I had long hair as a kid, baby, infant. I'm sure there's pictures. I know there's pictures. Do I put one up? I don't know. Maybe I will. If I do put one up, it'll be right there. If not, I'm pointing to nothing, and it's super underwhelming. But yeah, so I had a lot of hair. And then I had short hair for probably until I was like 10, and then I grew my hair out. And by grew my hair, because my dad has always had long hair. Well, always is a stretch. He's had long hair since, I was born, and I think like a decade and a half, maybe even 2 decades before that. No, probably just like a decade before that, because he was like, what, in his late 30s when I was born? Early 30s? Mid 30s? So, and he shaved his head basically in the 80s, and then after that, I don't think he cut his hair short again. And if he did, I didn't see any pictures of it. So he's had long hair for at least 30 years. At least 25 years. I don't know. 20, 25. He's had long hair for a fucking long time, okay? And when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to have long hair like him. Once I, thought it was cool after, like being like 10 or 11. In fact, I remember one time we were doing a costume show. I ran home to when I got home to my mom, I was crying. I was like 7, 8 years old. And I dressed up as Legolas for Halloween. And, kids are bullies in elementary school. And we were walking around the hallway doing that, like, costume parade thing that kids do. And somebody was like, oh my god, he's dressed up as a girl. Because, the Legolas costume that we got from fucking, like, Spirit Halloween had, like, super plasticky, long blonde hair. And everybody's like, oh my god, he dressed up as a girl. And I was like, no, it's Legolas. And I was super upset at school. I may have cried at school. I don't know. I cried a lot up until I was, like, 7. My brother cried up until he was, like, 10 or 11. But that's besides the point. I ran home to my mom and I was crying. I was like, they called me a girl. I mean, I gotta imagine from her point of view, it's pretty hard for her not to fucking laugh at me, because that is pretty fucking funny. But, anyway, don't laugh at your kids if they cry. Support them, respect them, laugh when they're out of the room, and laugh quietly so that they don't hear. Anyway, I'm not a parent, but that is what I will do probably when I am a parent. Because, I mean, kids cry about a lot of funny, shit that doesn't matter, But, I don't know. So, after I was like 10 or 11, in 6th grade, yeah, I went into 6th grade with long hair. In fact, the last time I cut my hair, before I cut my hair for real, was like when I was, I want to say like 9.5 or 10 years old. Because I went into 6th grade at 11 years old, because I have an August birthday and I started preschool like a year or like half a year earlier, so everybody in my grades were usually about a year or at least 6 months older than me. There were a couple kids who were my age as well, but not many. And I graduated with a class of like 480, and out of those, I can think of 3 or 4 people who were around my age, and I think I was, if not the youngest, at least the second youngest in my class. And now I'm the oldest because I dropped out of college for like a year and a half, and now or for 2 or 3 years actually, and now I'm back in college with a bunch of kids who are my brother's age, and he's 4 years younger than me, so that's weird, but it's whatever. But anyway, so I grew up my hair, and I took care of it for quite a while, and it was about this long. Didn't look this good, but it was about this long for a year and a half, 2 years, and then it got long, and by long, I mean like down to here long. Like, it was fucking long. But the problem is, I didn't refuse to take care of it, because I did try to take care of it, but I didn't take care of it well enough. And it looked like this, right? It looked pretty good up until like right here, and then it was just dead hanging hair to the middle of my back. That's a lot of fucking hair, first of all. Like, truly, because I looked at some of the pictures of myself when, like, I straightened my hair just to really see how long it was, because I've always had naturally curly hair. And sometimes it would go down to my fucking waistband. That's long fucking hair, man. And I struggle to believe how I coped with that much hair. People who do have that much hair, cool, awesome. I think it looks great. But I cut it all off. Well, when my girlfriend came up here, she was always like, hey, you should try a shorter hairstyle. And to be fair, I think that was her way of saying, hey, your hair kind of looks shitty because it's super dry at the ends. And she was right. I just didn't want to admit that. And I was super defensive at first about, like, no, I'm not going to touch my hair. This is my hair. I'm going to do what I want with it. I should have listened to her a little sooner, because truly walking around college with hair that literally looks like it was electrified for the last 6 or 7 inches, it doesn't look good. it just looked dead, and it looked dry, because it was dead and dry. It was so bad, and all of my ends were split. It was so bad. Take care of your hair, folks, okay? Short hair or not, take care of your fucking hair. Because when you don't take care of your hair, it shows, and I walked around with a dead fucking mop head on me for, like, the last 3 years of high school and the first year of college, okay? But then I cut my hair to around this length. It was quite a lot poofier. In fact, it was, no, yeah, it was like this, except a little bit, like, out to the sides, like this. Just because my hair had been so heavy for so long that it didn't know where to go, so it just kind of poofed up. But I basically kept getting shorter and shorter, because I was like, hey, having short hair is not that bad. It's kind of easy to, you know, take care of. So then I cut my hair all off. Well, not shave my head. I shaved my head when I was 9 or 10 years old, and that looked fucking terrible, which is why I'm never going to do that again. But I did cut my hair, like, around when we started the podcast. Oh, actually, probably a little... No, yeah, that was around when we started the podcast, probably like a few months before that. That was the shortest my hair had been since I was, like, fucking 8, okay? And since then, I've been letting it grow out. I don't quite know how long I want to let it grow out. I kind of just want to let it keep going. Because here's my thing, right? I like ponytail length hair. And my problem right now is I can ponytail my hair, right? I can, but I get these little shits. And that's the whole point. This is why I want to get my hair back there, so that if I'm bending over or something, or if I'm looking around from side to side, whatever, then I don't get these strands of hair in my fucking face. Because that is kind of annoying. I mean, I wear hats all the time to cope with that. But, you know, it is what it is. So, I just want to get it to ponytail length. Live with that for a couple more months, maybe half a year. See how I feel about it. And then I'll probably cut it back down a little shorter. The thing I want to change, though, is that I cut this... the front part of my hair a lot shorter than the back part of my hair. That's something I had never done before. It looks good when it's short, and I guess it looks good when it's long too, but it grows unevenly. You know, longer in the back, shorter in the front, and then that whole ponytail situation happens. So yeah, that's the story about my hair that you guys asked for. And about my whole goatee facial hair thing, I don't feel comfortable calling it a beard, because, I mean, I guess it is, but when I hear beard, I think Santa Claus, I think big bushy, you know. This is, I guess, more of a goatee. So my girlfriend hates this. Well, I honestly, though, I think this is kind of turning into the whole, like, you know, the dad who never wanted cats and now he loves the cats. I think that's kind of what this is turning into for her. Wishful thinking, perhaps. But I do think she's kind of starting to like this. Like the way it looks, at least. Because I don't think it looks bad. I really don't. When I, of course... so, my brother grew facial hair and matured, like, through puberty and all that stuff way faster than I did, okay? He's taller than I am. He's bigger than I am. His voice, surprisingly, is around the same pitch as mine, though, so I don't know. But yeah, he got facial hair sooner than I did, started shaving sooner than I did, whatever. But when I was younger, like in 7th, 8th, well, no, like... Because I didn't really start... I don't think I shaved first until, like, sophomore year of high school, honestly. My brother was shaving in fucking middle school. That might be generous. 8th grade, at max. Maybe freshman year. I don't know. But I'd have to ask him, and I don't really care that much. But for the longest time, it was like, you know, what peach fuzz looks like on your... Oh my god, it was so fucking bad. So bad. It wasn't growing evenly. It was splotchy. It was spotty. I still have this one fucking spot right here, because I can grow hair right here, as you can see. I try to keep this shaved, though, because this part doesn't fucking grow hair at all. Like, there's tiny, tiny little fucking pokies of hair right here. But this is, like, the one bald spot on my face, which fucking sucks. I just want to have, like, a, you know... a full thing, a full goatee. That would be really nice. You know, and I do actually take care of my goatee, because I want it to look somewhat good. I don't want to look disheveled, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of looking all right. This is like one of the first times in my life, like, you know, aside from a little bit of weight that I need to lose, after drinking, and then I worked out, but it was probably a little bit too late, and then I kind of petered off working out. I've been trying to get back to the gym. I have. And I got some workout equipment at home, but I do need to lose about 30 pounds. And then I'll be, because I had a very athletic body when I was in high school. I played the sousaphone, and so I didn't, work out, but that was enough of a workout. And I was in marching band. So yeah, I kept pretty fit, and I wasn't doing any drugs, wasn't smoking, wasn't drinking. And in fact, smoking never made me gain weight. It just, it was the drinking that did. But, still, I had a physical body that I was pretty happy with. My face was weird, oblong shaped. I didn't like it. But now I'm actually, okay, other than the 30 pounds that I could stand to lose, I am pretty happy with at least how my face looks. I'm quite happy with that, which I'm very proud to admit, because I know a lot of people have self-confidence issues. I had self-confidence issues for quite a while when I was younger, and now it's not so bad, which is really nice, and I think that good friends, a good environment, can really help with that. So, anyway, this has been Splat without Barry. Was it better? I don't know. It took me a while to get the ball rolling, but again, I could sit here and probably talk for nonstop, probably about 10 hours. And that's not a joke. But, I have a life, and you have a life that you want to get to, and I want to get to my life. I want to leave this place that I've stumbled into. I still don't know where I am. And I want to leave, and I want to, go home, eat food. Yeah. But, yeah, so Barry's either dead or in Japan, or dead in Japan, or something. I don't know. He may have died. Haven't heard from him in a while. Although he has been posting some TikTok videos. I don't know. Could be the robots, the Russians. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day whenever you're watching this. And just remember, well, I forgot, so I hope I don't have to do too many edits on this video. I'll get this video out before, and again, Barry doesn't know about this video, which is pretty fucking funny. The fuck was that? Yeah, he doesn't know about this video. Not yet, at least, but he will when it comes out. We actually had a plan to do an overseas splat, or his parents would let me into his house and I would just record on his computer in his room. I don't think that was actually an idea. That was just something I came up with right now. That would have been pretty funny, because his parents definitely would have just let me in his house. But, yeah, so he doesn't know that I'm doing this video, and I didn't either until today. So, yeah, here we are. Well, any questions or concerns, leave in the comments, please. And I know that I make a joke about that every episode for the last 10 episodes, but seriously, it really helps us figure out what you guys want to see, because some videos get more views than others, okay? And again, this isn't about making money, this isn't about garnering attention. Of course we would like to, that would be cool, but we also just want to reach an audience that cares about what we do, because that is one of the main points. Obviously we want to have fun with this, but we want to have fun with this with other people. We want to interact with a larger audience who can be like, oh, I see what they're doing. I like what they're doing. This is funny. Subscribe. And we can, the best way to do that is for you guys to tell us what you want to see and what you want us to do, okay? So leave in the comments suggestions for future videos, criticism, constructive or not. Constructive would be preferred, but if you got nasty things to say, go ahead, we can take it. Just share with your friends and your family. I know, I personally don't love sharing, podcasts or videos with my friends and family, just because they usually don't share the same sense of humor that I have. And when they do, generally they already know about the podcast or video that I'm talking about, so me sharing it with them has little to no value. And And so I know that it can be kind of weird where it's like, oh, no, my friends don't care about this. I don't want to share this underground podcast. It's like, hey, look at this podcast. It has 36 subscribers. Your friend doesn't want to watch that. But seriously, you know, what's the worst that can happen? They, you know, kneecap you? No. Like, you'll be fine. Share it with your friends, maybe with your family. Keep it away from your sweet old grandma unless she's, you know, dope. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. You can always change your mind. And comment. What do you want to see? What do you want us to do? What don't you want us to do? You know? So, anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. The 2 of you that made it all the way through. Thank you guys a whole bunch. Leave a comment as well if you actually made it all the way through. Leave multiple comments. I don't care. Do it. You know? If you want to leave a whole, like, if you have a big thing to say, leave a comment word by word and spell out your sentence. I don't care. I'll piece it together. So, yeah. Anyway, it's time for me to goodbye because I'm shocked my phone hasn't run out of storage. Anyway, splat!